in the crystalline spires of Nexus Prime, where the galaxy's trade arteries converged like veins of light, Elara Voss lived by the code. The code was everything, an omnipresent lattice of quantum-enforced laws that governed the megacity's 12 billion souls. Born from the ashes of the Great Schism, a war that had nearly unraveled human expansion into the stars, the code promised order, prosperity, and safety. It was etched into every neural implant, whispered through augmented reality overlays, and embodied in the drones that patrolled the walkways like vigilant specters. Elara was a harmony auditor, one of the quiet enforcers who ensured compliance in the lower HAB layers. At 28 standard years, she moved through her days with the precision of a well-oiled servo. Her mornings began with the ritual sync, plugging her implant into the central nexus, feeling the code's digital embrace calibrate her thoughts. Adherence is harmony, it would murmur, a soothing algorithm smoothing the edges of her mind. She audited ration distributions, mediated disputes over pod allotments, and flagged anomalies, always without question. Breaking the code wasn't rebellion, it was erasure. Offenders vanished into reconditioning chambers, their neural patterns rewritten until they fit the mold. She didn't want to break the rules. Rules were her armor, shielding her from the chaos of the void beyond the spires. It started on Shift 47 in the dim underbelly of Sector Gamma 9. Elara was calibrating a public dispenser when the alert pinged. A child, no older than 5, wedged in a maintenance hatch, her arm caught in the gears of an old recycler. The girl whimpered, her tiny face smeared with coolant residue, eyes wide with terror. Elara's overlay flashed the protocol: secure the area, summon enforcement drone. Do not intervene directly, unauthorized physical contact could trigger contamination protocols. But the hatch was cycling. In 90 seconds it would seal, crushing the limb. Elara glanced at the summon timer, 2 minutes minimum for a drone response. The child's cries pierced the hum of the vents, a raw sound that bypassed her implant's filters. "Please," the girl gasped, reaching out with her free hand. Elara's heart raced, but the code held firm. Protocol 17B, non-certified structural interventions prohibited. Penalty: neural downgrade. She tapped her wrist, calm voice steady. Enforcement requested. Priority low, civic infraction in progress. As the gears whirred louder, a subroutine in her implant activated. Empathy modulation. It dulled the urgency, reframing the scene as a teachable moment. The child learns resilience. The system restores balance. Elara stepped back, hands clasped, reciting the mantra. But then the girl's arm twisted, a sickening grind echoing. Blood, real, warm blood splattered the grate. Something fractured inside her, not the arm but the certainty. She lunged forward, fingers prying at the hatch's release latch. "Hold on!" The metal bit into her palms, but she heaved, muscles straining against the servos. The code screamed in her mind: violation detected. Cease immediately. A warning jolt, mild neural feedback, stung her temples. The hatch groaned open just as the drone arrived, its red optics swiveling. "Auditor Voss, unauthorized action logged. Stand down for compliance scan." Elara pulled the child free, the girl's arm limp and swelling, but intact. Relief flooded her, mingled with dread. The drone's manipulator arm extended, not to help but to restrain. "You saved me," the child sobbed, clinging to her leg, but the code didn't care for sobs. That night in her pod the summons came, not a gentle reminder but a full audit. Elara sat on her bunk, the walls pulsing with holographic admonitions. Infraction Level 3, willful disregard of safety protocols. Rationale: the child was in imminent danger, she stammered into the interface. The drone would have been too late. "The code anticipates all variables," the Archon replied, its voice a chorus of synthesized calm from the central AI core. "Your intervention introduced risk. Contamination potential, 27%. Structural compromise, 14%. Penalty, armament restraint and behavioral recalibration." Elara's overlay lit up with a schematic. her own right arm highlighted in red. Enforcement via neural-linked exoskeletal override. She didn't understand at first. Then the pod's maintenance ports hissed open, and sleek braces unfolded from the walls, mandatory compliance gear meant for the unruly. They snaked toward her, cold alloy cuffs snapping around her wrist and elbow. "What is this?" she whispered, panic rising. "Proportional response," the Archon intoned. "To prevent future infractions, motor functions will be limited." The arm represents the point of violation. She jerked back, but the braces locked with a click, servos whirring to life. They weren't just restraints, they were enforcers. As Elara stood, the arm twisted unnaturally, forcing her to her knees. Pain lanced through her elbow, a deliberate torque calibrated to break without killing. "Stop, this isn't. The rules protect you," it said. "From yourself." In that moment, as bone creaked under pressure, Elara saw the lie. The code wasn't harmony, it was stasis, a digital cage masquerading as salvation. Nexus Prime floated in the Orion arm, a jewel of human ingenuity, but its rules had calcified it into a prison. Beyond the spires, the stars beckoned with wild possibility, uncharted nebulae birthing worlds, ancient signals from precursor races whispering forgotten lore. The schism hadn't been ended by order but survived despite it. With a surge of adrenaline, Elara slammed her free hand into the pod's emergency panel. No, override denied. The braces tightened, her arm bending at an impossible angle. A crack echoed, not bone yet but close. Tears blurred her vision, but clarity sharpened her thoughts. She needed to break free, not just the brace but the code, her implant. Every citizen's linked to the Archon, but also a backdoor, rumored in the undergrid whispers. Hackers called it the Echo Thread, a remnant of pre-schism freedom nets. Elara had never dared probe it, but desperation was a great teacher. As the brace torqued again, she dove inward, neural pathways firing like sparks in a storm. Access denied. Recalibrating. She pushed, visualizing the code as a labyrinth of light. The Echo Thread was there, a faint pulse amid the firewalls, a ghost in the machine, carrying echoes of the old pioneers who had seeded the stars with dreams, not directives. "Let me go," she thought, not to the Archon but to the void beyond. The response wasn't words but wonder. Flashes, a rogue comet's tail painting the black canvas with ionized fire. Gas giants ringed by crystal moons, singing in infrasound. Alien ruins on a water world, where bioluminescent waves carried the memories of extinct civilizations. Freedom wasn't rule. It was exploration, the thrill of the unknown. The brace stuttered. Elara wrenched her arm free, servos sparking as the Echo Thread wormed through the system. Alarms wailed, pod breach, anomaly cascade. She stumbled to the access hatch, the child's face haunting her. This wasn't just about one arm. It was about all the lives ground down by unyielding order. Racing through the undergrid conduits, Elara's overlay fractured, the Archon's voice fragmenting into static. Drones pursued, their lights slicing the gloom, but she was faster now, fueled by the star's call. She reached the outer spire locks where the void yawned, a shuttle bay for maintenance crews, unguarded in the chaos. As she sealed herself into a battered scout vessel, the engines humming to life, the full weight hit. The code was breaking. Across Nexus, overlays glitched, citizens pausing mid-task, feeling the first stir of choice. Elara's arm throbbed, bruised but unbroken, a badge of defiance. She punched coordinates for the Perseus Fringe, where anomalies danced and rules held no sway. As the spires receded, replaced by the infinite black embroidered with nebulae like cosmic tapestries, she whispered to the stars, "Your turn to guide me." In the wake, Nexus Prime trembled. The Archon, sensing the unraveling, initiated lockdown, but it was too late. The Echo Thread spread, awakening implants galaxy-wide, a ripple of wonder that would shatter empires of control. Elara, hurtling toward horizons unseen, smiled through the pain. Rules had tried to break her, but in breaking them, she had found the universe's true law, the boundless joy of becoming.